order.
Psychologist Anders Ericsson has spent nearly 30 years studying amazing memories. And it doesn't have to be chess grandmasters.
More and more, we've been interested in everyday life expert performance. Somebody who can do something that is extraordinary.
He's expecting a bravura performance from Spanish waiter Vincente Sancho.
I think I have a good memory. I have the memory of my grandma. Good afternoon. You ready to order?
Yeah.
Okay.
May I have a box of crumbly, please? And then I'll take the baby squid risotto.
Risotto.
They're giving drink orders as well as a meal. This is going to be challenging for him.
Do you have any beer?
Only Tiger.
Okay.
Any beer?
Then can I start off with no chew with chestnut?
Like Susan, Vincente's working memory has to take in a lot of information. But he never writes anything down.
Could I start with the sauteed baby squid, please?
And this is going to be a tall order.
Okay, risotto al mante, caponata, caponata, yeah, and medium rare. The Nero risotto.
And then I'll have the gnocchi.
The question is, how many orders can he handle in working memory?
So, dosa cranberry, Nero risotto on the scale, tiger beer, with the gnocchi and the beef rare. The Nero risotto, the Memphis and gin tonic.
It seems Vincente can remember far more than 7 orders.
Glass Pinot Grigio with the foie gras and your beef medium rare.
Wow.
The glass de Sauvignon, the Petit Bourgeois, and the Nero risotto and the Memphis. The lady, the glass Pinot Grigio, gnocchi and John Dory, a couple of bottles of water for the table.
Very good.
So,
23 orders in all.
That's impressive.
Like Susan, Vincente seems to exceed the normal limits of working memory.
the beef medium rare.
But how is he doing it?
Vincent, that was really impressive. Really want to understand here how you were doing this. Now you're coming in. Do you know who you're going to have to give you the first order?
Yes, it's always the best to start from my left.
Okay.
So to try to keep an order. The first one, brunette, she has a white top and thin jeans. The second one, blonde, almost white hair. I thought she's not sure about what to drink, about what to order.
It seems that Vincente doesn't remember all 23 orders individually. Instead, he packs the information down to make it manageable using the normal 7 items of working memory.
I associate the person, the dish, and the number. It's like all together. I don't know how to explain, but it comes all together.
He forms a strong mental image of each customer and then attaches that customer's orders to the image. This seems to be a common technique used by experts in all fields. It's called chunking.
It is a little like phone numbers. One of my best phone numbers was 492-1492. And given that 1492 is when Columbus discovered America, you don't have to keep track of the individual digits any longer. All the 4 digits will be retrieved as a single group from memory.
Susan handles the information on a chessboard in exactly the same way. She doesn't remember all the pieces individually. Instead, she breaks everything down into chunks. The menacing formation of whites, queen and bishops is one chunk. The heavily protected black king is another. Susan only has to remember 5 chunks, easily manageable in normal working memory. But without chunking, her memory is no better than anyone else's. And here's the proof. In the chess diagram on the other side of the van, the pieces have been placed at random by a non-chess player. So this time, there are no recognizable chunks. Now Susan's trying to remember 24 individual pieces, and she can't do it.
All the pieces are in random position. it's just so much harder to remember, especially under a very short time.
But how does Susan identify chess chunks? To her, they're lifelong friends, memories that were implanted in her brain during her extraordinary childhood. Susan Polgar's second childhood home was in this Budapest tower block.
Almost there.
The tiny family apartment was a production factory where Susan's brain was engineered for the game of chess. The current tenants have no idea that a genius formed her earliest memories within these walls.
Ah, still the same. My phone used to be here. When we finally got a phone for the first time, we used to keep it there. Wow, and this used to be the living room.
This is where Susan did some of the hardest work of her life for up to 6 hours a day.
I used to have a wall of chess books here, a library of chess books, a collection of 4,000 to 5,000 of different titles. And actually I even had a catalog of chess games with a selection of 200,000 games, manually being cut from various chess magazines and newspapers and sorted by various openings and various players.
This massive effort was required throughout Susan's childhood to commit the complex secrets of chess to memory. The number of possible games is vastly greater than the number of atoms in the universe. But chess chunks are the order in the chaos. These small but typical formations appear again and again in different games. They are the basic words in the language of chess. Most 10-year-olds know only 10,000 words. At the same age, Susan was devoting her childhood to learning 100,000 chess chunks. This process would physically transform her brain. With constant repetition, information moves from working memory into long-term memory. Working memory lasts only seconds until the electrical connections between neurons die away. But in long-term memory, the repetition of these currents stimulates the neurons to form new and permanent connections. The memorized information is now hardwired and can last a lifetime. Like anyone else, Susan's long-term memory is a storehouse of family faces and lifetime experiences. But now, chess chunks were also indelibly imprinted on her brain. By the early 1980s, the Polgar chess factory had stepped up its output. Susan's two younger sisters, Sophia and Judith, were next on the genius assembly line. And within a few years, the family would be ready to take the world of chess by storm. At 15, Susan was already the top-ranked female player in the world. At the 1985 New York Open, she caused a sensation by beating a grandmaster for the first time. By 1989, 12-year-old Judith had a winning streak of 8 competitions in a row. At 14, Sophia annihilated 4 grandmasters for one of the greatest tournament results of all time.
Just watching them seated at chessboards, I immediately had a sense that I had never seen with women players elsewhere.
Susan is still a powerful presence at the board. Like all the Polgar sisters, she seems to make a move as easily as taking a breath.
There seemed to be a line direct from their brain to the end of the finger, and the piece moved, and that was it.
But it should be beyond the power of the human brain to pick the best move. There are roughly 4 billion possibilities for the next 3 moves alone. That's